Okay. Do you think Andrew can do a cartwheel? The rational answer would be no. Good morning, Mount Olive Church and friends of Mount Olive Church. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and a good week. Also, as I share my screen here, doing a little different this time, using an actual old school PowerPoint presentation. So we'll see how that goes. Hope you guys have had a chance to catch the pastor's devotion on Monday and Jody's from yesterday. Really, really good. Love this devotion. Love that we've been doing the devotions on kind of the messages that were on Sunday, because, like I said last time, a lot of times by, Wednesday or Thursday, we've maybe kind of, it's went to the back of our mind at best, right? So love that we're kind of reminding each other of the truths that were told on Sunday. So Brother Jody there yesterday talked about casual choices. Of course, Pastor on Monday talked about substitution. Loved that whole sermon on Sunday. It was just so awesome. Just a great place to be there on Sunday. Really, really enjoyed it. Up there, I guess, was one of my favorite church services of all time. Just loved it. Great atmosphere, great place to be, great worshiping together with all you all. So today, though, I want to talk about, like I said, Brother Jody yesterday talked about casual choices. I want to talk about irrational choices. Thought about throwing a couple of math jokes in there about irrational numbers for the two or three of you that get that reference. You probably giggle just a little bit, and the rest of you'd be like, okay, he's getting nerdier than usual. But my verses are from Matthew chapter 27, like the rest of the guys I think will be, and mine are verse 22 and 23. And this is Pilate, of course, talking. Pilate saith unto them, what shall I do then with Jesus, which is called the Christ? We'll come back to that in just a second. They all say unto him, let him be crucified. And verse 23, the governor said, why? What evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, let him be crucified. And if you've not had a chance to watch the sermon from Sunday, please go back and do that, because PJ is going to do a lot better job on this point than I'm sure I will. But I did love this point of how irrational it was for the people to want Barabbas over Jesus. Now, of course, they were stirred up by the leaders, the Jewish leaders and all that, but it was so irrational for them to want Barabbas, this murderer and thief and this thug, over this man Jesus, who had done nothing but good for them and to them. And so, Pilate has that line there in verse 22. It says, what shall I do with this? And then he says, Jesus, which is called Christ. But my mind kind of went to, what if we substituted in other things, other truths we know about Jesus? What if Pilate had said in his mind, what if we say this too, but what shall I do with this Savior of the world? Right? As he's standing there asking the people, what shall I do with the Savior of the world? What shall I do with this Prince of Peace? What shall I do with this maker of the entire universe? If the people could have just saw that, right? Of course, on the other hand, we're kind of glad they didn't, right? It saved all of our souls from hell, the substitution that Jesus made for us on the cross. And of course, that was always the master plan. But, just looking at it from Pilate's perspective and the people's perspective, if they could have only seen who that really was standing in front of them and how irrational that choice was to want this murderer Barabbas as opposed to the Savior of the world and the Prince of Peace. So the crowd responds to that. He asks them, what do we do with him? Crowd responds with, this same crowd that had, this is something that kind of hit me today. This same crowd that no doubt had seen him healed blind, people they knew were blind from birth, had seen him just like that restore eyesight, had seen him raise the dead, had heard the stories about Lazarus and the little girl, and maybe had been there, right? Imagine being there, and seeing that Lazarus was brought back to life, and then being one of the people calling for him to be crucified. It's just, it blows my mind on the one hand. On the other hand, we'll get to it more here in a second, but the people who had heard the power in his words, they respond by saying, let him be crucified. It's such, like Brother TJ said on Sunday, it's so irrational for them, those people that have been around this Jesus and watched him walk this earth for those 3 years of his ministry, and they say, let's crucify him, right? And so, I just wanted to kind of end here. And so, Pilate said, "What shall I do with this Jesus, which is called Christ?" Insert your name there. Think every morning when you get up, what shall I do with this Jesus? What shall I do with this Savior of the world? Can I tell somebody today about him? What shall I do with this Prince of Peace? Am I having anxiety? Am I struggling with things? What can I do with him, right? What shall I do with this maker of the universe? Think about that hopefully this morning, and hopefully think about how much better your day will be if we think more on those things, right? And the rational choices we can make as opposed to the irrational ones that we make sometimes when we don't have that perspective of Jesus. But so how do I respond to that? How do I respond to that question? I've seen him, what he's brought me from, how he saved my soul, how that he works all things for good, taking the bad things in my life and made them into good, even when it seemed like there was no way. And, how often is my response one of doubt, one of faithlessness, and how irrational is all that considering what I know about my Jesus and what he's capable of. And just a reminder today that he can do anything. He's there for us. He wants to do good for us. Just a reminder to remember that today as I try to get out of this slideshow here. But just a reminder of how good he's been to us and how good that he always will be. So have a good day, Mount Olive and Mount Olive friends. Hope you got something out of that. Hope to see you at church tonight. Miss you guys. Can't wait to see you again. And we love you. See you guys.